said they not wrong, and look who is here alongside us now, Stephen A. Smith, who has been in Minneapolis all day long, and you've spent time there, so obviously now you are the mayor of the city. I'm guessing that supplanted Miami as one of your favorite cities in the NBA, right?
No,
I mean, you said, never. You said in January, Stephen A., that you wanted to go and you wanted to see Anthony Edwards in person, and now you're getting that opportunity tonight. But for all the folks who are at home watching, thinking, wait, you really compared this young man to Michael Jordan. Why is it that you see that?
First of all, I never compared him to Michael Jordan because there's only one MJ, as I've educated Big Perk about when he tries to bring up somebody else in a GOAT conversation. What I said, however, is that when you look at his brand of basketball, his style, the athleticism, some of the moves that he puts forth, his explosiveness, et cetera, it's Jordan-esque. He's not there, of course, not yet. He's not where Kobe is or was, God rest his soul, not yet. But when you look at the potential of Anthony Edwards, his shooting ability, his ability to get to the basket, his athleticism, his explosiveness, and most importantly, that want-it factor when you stepping on the court and wanting to put on a show. That is Anthony Edwards. And I'm telling you right now, when I see him, I love what I'm seeing. To be so young, to have that athletic, big NBA body, and to be able to finish at the basket and to do the things he's capable of doing, that's why I'm here. I want to see this brother in action, up close, in person, because I think he has the potential to be that spectacular for years to come.
But that's why I compared him to the '89 version of Michael Jordan, right? Because he's still a raw talent with so much potential, and his ceiling is unbelievable. When you think of Anthony Edwards, yes, to all the things Stephen A. alluded to, he has the talent, he has the athleticism, he has the want factor, right? But he also has the leadership skills. And at 22 years old, it is so refreshing to have a guy that takes accountability not only with himself, but hold his team accountable, but also put the key in their back, right? It's so, like, I saw an interview the other day with Karl Anthony Towns after the game, and they were interviewing him. And Anthony Edwards went behind the interview and said, I don't know why they're double-teaming me. They need to be double-teaming you. You're the best offensive player on the team. Because he knows, right, that if they get the best version of Karl Anthony Towns, this team is going to go to heights that they probably don't even believe that they could go to.
But you've said that not necessarily in the postseason. You see them maybe being a team that people don't fear yet. Stephen A., where do you think that this Timberwolves team can go with Anthony Edwards keying that engine?
I think they're skilled and gifted enough to go to the conference finals. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I definitely think you have to look at them. You look at the reigning, defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets, and you ask who can be the biggest impediment, the biggest form of resistance to them. We've talked about the Clippers, but we see that age is factored into the equation along with the lack of size, even though I still believe in them. We looked at the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're inexperienced and they're thin. You look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, what do you see? You see a stud in Anthony Edwards. You see a three-time Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert. You see a guy in Karl Anthony Towns that has the potential to drop 50 or 60. You've got size in your front line. You've got star power in your backcourt. You've got steady, reliable leadership in Mike Conley Jr., and you have some depth with Reed and others. And so I look at it from that perspective, and I'm saying to myself, this is a team that built itself to be able to compete with who other than a reigning, defending NBA champions that took them out in the playoffs last year. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm seeing. And I don't think anybody can sniff at that, to be quite honest with you.
Not to mention the general manager, the former general manager that put together the Denver Nuggets is now the general manager there in Minnesota. Chiney, in your opinion, what makes this Timberwolves team so dynamic?
Yeah, let me break it down. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they are a three-headed monster. They have three stars that are the best at what they do, and it starts with Anthony Edwards up at the top. Ant is having a career best year. He has increased his points per game, assists per game, field goal percentage, nearly every category. He is the heart and soul of this team, and his play has elevated the entire squad. Now, from offense to defense, Rudy Gobert stars down low. He's anchoring the NBA's best defense. He's defended the most shots at the rim over the last 10 seasons, allowing the fourth lowest percentage, and the X factor is Karl Anthony Towns. He's shooting, really allows them to play two bigs. He has made the fourth most threes for a 7-footer in NBA history. He has 7 seasons making at least 100 threes. The trifecta has the Timberwolves at #1 in the West.
I'm glad you pointed at Rudy Gobert, because a lot of people may not like this, but this is a real statement and a real take that I'm about to give you. This man can arguably go down as the best defensive player to ever play the game of basketball. He's on the verge of winning his 4th Defensive Player of the Year. Matter of fact, if it ended today, he has my vote. He gets a lot of criticism from the world, his peers, but this man shows up year-to-year basis, night-to-night basis, and does his job at an elite high level. You're shaking your head, but the numbers are there. The accolades are there.
Well, let me answer you. I get where you're coming from, Perk. The only reason I would challenge you on that is because when I think about guys like Dennis Rodman and others, I think about the ability to go out to the perimeter and defend. That's been an impediment to Rudy Gobert's success, which affected Utah negatively, which affected Minnesota negatively last year. Now, coming to the basket, when you think of some of the premier shot blockers and rim protectors and rebounders throughout history, certainly he's right there. There's no doubt about that. He's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year for a reason, but I can't ignore the inability to step out away from the basket and how he can be exploited in that manner, and that's why I would disagree with you.
Yeah, but let's say we living in different times, right? The pick and roll was guarded a lot differently than what it was back when Dennis Rodman was playing. Now big men are required to switch pick and rolls and slide those puppies.
We're going to get into this. Yep, go ahead, Stephen.
Let me interject here for a second, Malika. Minnesota, listen, we don't show up here every day, okay? All right? They want to hear what we got to say from Minnesota. Wearing this damn music, I can barely hear the question. All right, let's pipe it down just a touch.